like it needed some butter or something. You know what I mean?
They ain't put no butter in these pancakes.
No, they had like nice powdered sugar, and the syrup was like nice. I think it was like extra healthy because it wasn't very sweet, the syrup either. So I was like, that's why I gave him like a 7 on the food scale, because I was like, all right, y'all brunch is not that impressive, but it was still general, you know, it's doable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
It's not high up there. It's definitely no first watch.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Which is in
Many
what's
places.
the word?
It's a chain.
What's the word I'm looking for?
It's the word.
Which is contrasted to Mobile YumYum.
Oh my God, man. Yeah. You know, my sister asked me about that. As soon as I got home, she was like, do you have more of that stuff you had? And I'm like, no.
Oh, she tried some?
No, she asked me if I had some more that I could give her, because she wanted to try it because she saw the post.
Yeah.
And I was like, I only bought one. I crushed that mess.
Yeah.
I'm Mobile YumYum. I was like, half of mine. I was like, are they still there today?
Yeah, they actually are back out there today.
I know, but I shouldn't, because I already spent money.
Which, by the way, what's up, you guys?
Hey,
this is
hey,
Whitney and Bola. You heard us
doing?
talking about our foodie.
Yes,
trips.
I'm blurting out about the food. That's what I'm blurting out about today, y'all.
And
the
we
food.
we are both totally blurting out about Mobile YumYum.
Yes,
it's a food truck in the
yes.
Richmond area.
Get
Amazing.
YumYum.
I got myself 2 YumYums and some island fries. Delish.
Mm-hmm.
Bola, tell them what you got.
I got the one YumYum, and the YumYum is an egg roll that has collard greens, chicken, and mac and cheese in it, y'all.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
It's delectable.
Thanks for describing, yeah.
Totally unhealthy, totally tasty. And then I also got 2 jerk tacos, and then me and you end up sharing them. But it was basically lettuce with the chicken jerk seasoning, and then the like pineapple salsa. It was just so much flavor. It was so yummy. I loved it.
Delicious.
It was so good. And then I got a
we
slushie
basically
too.
ordered enough so that we could both try like some of everything. So I gave Bola some of my island fries. She gave me one of her
tacos.
Which
jerk
taco
tacos.
Jerk tacos. Everything was awesome.
Yes, everybody.
Everything is awesome.
Everything is cool when you're eating good food. It was so good, y'all. Like, I'm telling you, please shout out to Mobile Yum. And she had a slushie that I ended up buying, and it was like so good. It was a little sweet, so I like as it was melting, I kept adding water to it so I could drink it. Honestly, because I was trying to preserve the flavor, because you could really taste the strawberry. It didn't seem like, you know how like fake strawberry syrup, you know, when you have strawberry flavors, it's like, you know, artificial almost, but you could really taste the strawberry. I liked it. I know she used some kind of puree or something, but it was really good too. So
yeah, and I've tried the like back in June when I first tried Mobile YumYum. I think I had the mango slushie, and it was delicious.
Yes, on a hot day, I imagine that thing melted quicker, and that thing hit the spot.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so girl, I'm just learning out some good food.
Yes,
good food. Yes. Y'all gotta let us know about some good food.
Out, we trying to gas her up, y'all.
Yes,
try Mobile
yes.
YumYum. I think the website is mobileyumyum1.com.
Yes, and if not, I'm gonna be posting it on our social media. I'm gonna put it in our stories so you can follow her. I'll just attach her. I'll do a mention in the story with the pictures. No, the video of the YumYum that we tasted. It was so good. So I will do that so y'all will know and patronize. And like, you can also find her schedule of where her food truck is gonna be on her website as well.
Yeah.
It's like I think it's like a Jamaican fusion food. I think. Would you say that?
Yeah, I would say Jamaican, but I would say like with like a southern flair.
Yeah,
like the fact that the YumYums are like
definitely
an
more
egg
southern.
roll with like mac and cheese and chicken and collard greens. I was like, this has definitely got like a southern twist. That I love.
I would definitely say like a Jamaican southern fusion food.
Yeah,
which is cool because it's also an egg roll, so it's also that's not
also Asian fusion.
Yeah, and I was telling Whitney how I had a Philly cheesesteak egg roll one time, and that thing was, I'm telling you, everything you imagine it would be: tasty, oily, totally unhealthy, yummy. Are you blurting out about anything else, Whitney?
Yeah, actually. So, like, I was, getting in my Halloween spirit since it's October. So, I ended up watching Midnight Mass, which I wanted to see because the creator of The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor also made this series. And it's not, like, similar to his other ones. It's not like a haunting type thing. It's still, like, a supernatural horror series, but different. But still very good. So I really enjoyed that. So I would, if you guys are into horror, I would suggest checking out Midnight Mass. Just don't expect it to be like either of the Haunting series, because it's very different from those, but it's still good and it's really good in its own way.
I'm happy that you watched Squid Games, because that's close to Halloween I'm gonna get.
I really want to rewatch Beetlejuice. That's one where you would have been able to watch with me. But
I've seen Beetlejuice, the original one, the old one, right?
There's some that you like to rewatch, and since it's around Halloween, it's a good time to rewatch it. But it's like not on any of like the streaming. Like
you can't find it.
Yeah, I would have to buy it, which I wouldn't mind, but I've already overspent, so.
I want to dress up as one of the pink guards from Squid Games. I really do. Like that, or I probably pick like Ali's number from the green outfits, the tracksuits, just because I loved Ali, or Sabiek, the girl from North Korea. Those are my two favorite characters.
They were my favorites too.
Mm-hmm.
I actually want to.
I would do Gi-young with the red hair after he won. Spoiler: after he won. I loved him with the red hair. I
actually was not fond of the red hair on him.
It doesn't work on him. I just like that he did it, because I like
yeah.
people trying different things, and I just like how outrageous it was.
Right.
That he just was like, I'm just gonna pick this because I was like, I can. You know what I mean? It just seemed like that's the I saw it as like a transformation. That was like, because even though he won, he had like stayed in like this kind of hermit
survivor's guilt.
Yes, kind of status, and he looked worse than when he got into the game.
Right.
And then you see him once he discovered who was really behind the game. Old people. Anyway, I was so mad at him. Anyway, because he was like a sweet old person, and then he ended up being like the creator of everything, and I was like, wow, you foul. But okay. But I like that he totally transformed and totally changed. To me, that signified how much he was ready to like change. It was like he was going to take on the world. So I'm hoping for another season of Squid Game, but who knows?
Who knows? But yeah, I would be interested to see another season, though. The way they ended it is.
I'm happy with it.
I think it works the way it is. But if they had another season, I would be interested to see that too.
You know what's so funny? Somebody said because this thing has so many memes, and I love the memes and videos and everything that everyone's doing with Squid Game.
Yeah.
Also, you need to see the Saturday Night Live Squid Game song with Rami Malek, because he hosted for the first time last week. That thing is hilarious. I'm gonna send you a clip of it. Okay. It's so hilarious. Okay. But
send our BlerdTalk listeners a clip too.
I will. But the funny thing was, somebody said about him turning around, because he was actually going to go see his daughter in America, and they're like, the fact that he turned around, and to me, I was like, oh, he might try to take down the establishment of this game.
Right.
Someone's like, so you just gonna continue to be a bad father?
That's what I thought too. That was my thought too. Like, dude, really though? Can we maybe visit the daughter and then focus on taking down this organization? You don't know how long this is going to take you. You're already looking like a really shitty dad right now.
Yo, I was just like, black people just came for him. Because he was like, so you're just going to continue to be a bad dad. You should just get on the plane. Like, stop playing. Even the person on the phone was like, get on the plane. We're like, but he's like, no, I'm coming for you.
I'd be like, I'm coming for you right after I finish preparing my relationship with my daughter.
I know, right? Songwoo, he's a bitch ass. I'm sorry. Songwoo was just like, but I understood what kind of person he was. You know what I mean? He was like, I'm winning no matter what. No matter what. And it was only at the end that he got a conscience. But it's kind of bad what happened to him. But
yeah.
But what he did for Ali, I'm just like, still doesn't count. And to Sabiek, because those are my two favorites.
It's really messed up. But at the same time, you can sympathize with him a little bit, because it's like people getting like murked out here. Mm-hmm. Like, somebody's gonna die each time.
Oh, I don't have to say, is that little game with the sugar cookie? Oh, hell no. I would not have passed that one. I would just get so irritated and be like, scratch. And I was just mad that he made him pick the worst one, was the umbrella, and he knew better. He should have been like, nah, get in my line.
Well, he didn't make him pick the wrong one, but he just didn't warn him.
Oh, but he was about to, and he chose not to, because he's like, well, if I can get you off.
He did, but still, he didn't make him pick it, though.
Yeah, you're right. But he knew, and he didn't bother to tell nobody.
Yeah, that was a bitch-ass move.
Thank you. And the rocks with Ali, come on now. And then he just didn't mind pushing off the glass thing, which to me, that was like the worst game. The glass thing was the worst game, girl. It was terrible. That game was fun. I was like, okay, this is not a kid's game, okay? Everything else I could get, but this is not a kid's game. Anyway, But yeah, so I would.
But
love
I was
to
really
go to
glad to
costumes.
see what was the gang dude? What was his name?
Oh Lord, something Shingbo. Sang Dunk, I think. Sang Dunk.
I was so glad to see his comeuppance.
Yes. High five. Because I love that girl. Even though she was insane. Yeah. But just the way she got him, she's like, oh, you gonna do that to me? She was
like, I don't care if I go down with you, but I'm gonna make sure you go down.
I was mad at him too. I was like, don't promise that girl nothing if you're not gonna do nothing. But of course, men do this all the time just to get the cookie. You know what I mean? He was like, I got some cookie while we in this craziness. And then I'm like, the girl's already crazy. You don't think she I was just like, the way she was, wouldn't you think, oh no, this chick could murk me myself. Like, that's why I would never mess with her. Just because she's crazy. And look, she didn't even care about winning the game. She's like, as long as I take your ass out, we both dying together, okay? I was like, yo, she a G. I can't. Anyway, so I'm like, I would love to see like Squid Game costumes. I would just love to see it everywhere.
That would, yeah, I have a feeling that's probably going to be
the only thing
popular.
I was not satisfied with the show was the brother, the cop and the brother situation.
Oh my God, yes.
That was the only thing I wasn't satisfied about.
I was so sad that he died. I was like,
wait, some people are saying he's not really dead.
You
didn't see no body, and he got shot in the shoulder.
Yeah,
not in the heart.
well, I mean, it was hard to see. It looked like it could have been close to being the heart, but it could have been a little high into the side too.
It looked like a shoulder to me.
It was hard to tell for me. But I'm like, yeah, I hope he's not dead. Because I'm like, dude.
There's more.
I liked his character.
The's more to the front man than we know.
Yeah.
I love the VIP masks. The VIPs suck. But I love the VIP masks.
Yeah, I gotta admit, like, I've read some articles about how the actors are getting all these, like, this hate about how bad the acting were.
Yeah,
and I'm like, yeah, this does look like some really, really crappy acting.
Yeah, that was like the only bad acting that I'm like, why y'all? But they're supposed to be, but to me it was like they were supposed to be that, like, terrible, overly privileged, like, you know, non-compassionate, like, rich people.
But I felt like the acting on that, I think I feel like I've seen it acted out better in other stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
especially the one that was trying to get our policeman in the room with him to suck his, you know what, I'm sorry, I was like, he could be better.
Yeah, it was not, I don't think it was well acted.
Well, yeah. Luckily, they're not important. Everything else is good, because I was like, nobody gives a about y'all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nobody cares about y'all.
Anyway, so we're done blurting out about other stuff. We gonna get into our new episode.
Well, I did want to say, like, even though Bola knows I've been saying this for years, you were talking about your Halloween costume, which you would like to dress up as. Yeah,
one of the Squid Game
right.
Yeah, and I don't do Halloween.
I didn't say what I was like. I actually have a list of, like, Halloween.
When you gonna do Akasha though? You've been saying Akasha since I met you in 2005.
I have been saying. So Bola's already spoiled one of them. Yes, I have been saying that I wanted to cosplay Akasha, Queen of the Damned.
Do you want to do that now? It's 2021. Do you want to do that one now?
I still want to try to do it at some point. I mean, I've got, like, a little bit of I'm a little fluffy for the role.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I would never want to do any role like that.
I don't care.
To bear so much skin.
Body positive. Queen Akasha.
I'm not saying you can't do it. Just gonna have to wear a bodysuit. Be like one of those, like, skin, like, nude colored suits.
But that's not the only person I want to cosplay as. I also would like to cosplay Bob from Reboot. Glitch Bob.
Oh, okay.
You've seen Reboot, right?
Yeah, we talked about this.
I would love, and especially with my locks.
That would work.
Bob. Yeah, like, it's in a link where it would be great. And I would also like to cosplay Sister Knight.
Oh, yeah, from Watchmen. I still need to finish that.
Yeah, she's awesome. So badass. Love her.
The only other one I would want to do is still Dora Milaje. I would like to do Dora Milaje. Okoye, that would be my main one.
Okoye was one of my favorite characters, but I would actually like to cosplay Shuri as opposed to Okoye.
I could totally see you doing Shuri. You just have the look, everything. And, like, you would do, like, the little guns. That would be you. Like, I could totally see it.
But yeah, that's my list of cosplay wish list.
I don't even do Halloween, but I really would love to I just love the whole Squid. I just want to take part in the Squid Game love. And I still love Black Panther, so I just can't. Anybody if you know where I can find a plus size Dora Milaje outfit, just let me know. Hit us up in the comments. Okay, so you guys, today's episode is about the new sci-fi. Can we call it a thriller? I would say let's say sci-fi epic.
I would say sci-fi Odyssey-like.
Odyssey is a very good word.
Yeah.
Odyssey, epic, Dune. Oh my gosh, guys.
Yeah.
We are going to be talking about it right now.
We are. And if you guys are new, I don't know, did we say what the show was earlier?
Oh, no, we didn't. We just started talking.
Y'all, this is BlerdTalk with Bola and Whitney.
Hey.
Sorry, guys.
How y'all doing? Yeah, we just started talking today, y'all.
No, now you know.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, but yeah, we're getting into Dune 2021, by the way, you guys.
Yes, because there is another one.
There was one that was made in 1984, which is like a cult classic or something.
And Lord, we did watch it.
We watched that as well, just for comparison's sake. Just to see.
Yeah. Yeah, we did that.
All I can do is kind of chuckle.
Yeah. I did. But it wasn't terrible. I mean,
it wasn't awful. I mean, the beginning was actually kind of awful, I thought.
Yeah.
Like the way she kept like the amount of exposition. It was like Star Wars level of exposition with like the words coming down, except for a woman on
just
screen,
in your face,
just explaining for like 5 minutes,
and
she
thought
kept
it was
fading
not a good
in and out, and I'm like, why is she randomly like? Why are they doing random dissolves? Why didn't she just stay on the screen?
I thought it was a bad choice, but I felt like because it was made in the 80s, I felt like that's something that they would have done, and I feel like it's something they've done before, where just someone's face is just like super sized on the screen talking to you. You know, like you're breaking the fourth wall, but okay, we just gonna listen.
Oh my god! And you guys, the inner voice for the 1984 Dune, it was.
They had a lot of exposition through inner voice.
Yes, so many like people like their thoughts just like whispered on the screen, and I'm like, this is such lazy storytelling.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But we are going to be mostly reviewing Dune, the 2021 version, with Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Jason Momoa, Josh Brolin, Dave Bautista,
Sarah Ferguson,
Jason Isaacs,
Oscar
Isaacs. Excuse me. I'm sorry. And there's a few others, and I can't remember their names. Stellan Skarsgård. There was a bunch of people in this, y'all. Just a bunch. It was very, honestly, the casting was just amazing.
It was. Like, to be honest, this movie is awesome, you guys. You should really see it.
This is like the third thing I've seen Timothée Chalamet in. And that young man has some talent, and just his face. I can't just not stop looking at him. I saw him in Call Me By Your Name, which I'm not even the subject matter in the movie I wasn't really interested in, but my sister loves like boy love movies and shows, so I just watched it with her because there was so much hype, and I wanted to see what the hubbub was about. And I kind of like movies about Italy and stuff, so... It was definitely a slice of life, so I'm not sure you want to watch it with me.
Oh, yeah, you know I'm not really
It is just about slice of life movies, but I like that kind of stuff. So I like watching everyday life.
Well, I mean, it depends. Like,
because it was well done to me.
I think that there's like romance, and then there's slice of life.
This is about romance. It's romance with slice of life.
So, see, I can do, if there's like kind of like almost like a love story type thing, I can do that, but as opposed to, what was it that we watched? Minari, where it wasn't even like a love story, it was just kind of slice of life, without like it being like another genre, and that's why I was kind of not as into it.
Slice of life is like you're just watching scenes of their life, but there should be good slice of life. There should be a story arc. Like, there should be a thing you're getting to. And Minari, I felt like it ended somewhere where you saw some growth, you saw some transition and stuff. I mean, we did talk about it. Check our episode out about Minari, y'all.
Yeah. You guys can check out
Slice of Life, yeah. So that's a Slice of Life movie that's really popular, especially like boy love with him and
Armie Hammer.
Yeah, I was gonna use a word for him because it's like now it's like his name is like totally taboo.
Oh, really?
Because of all
what
the
happened?
scandals that happened with Armie Hammer. You haven't heard about all that stuff?
No.
We're gonna talk about it off the pod because it's a lot.
Okay,
it's a lot. There was a whole like Vogue magazine article that I literally read, and me and my sister were just like kind of disgusted with him after reading this. Yeah, it's not very good. He comes from like he comes from money. He's come from infamous money. So his family has a lot of shady stuff going on. But he himself has this, and then there's like him and his father have these weird sexual things that they do.
Oh.
And so a lot of women that they have dealt with have come. He was actually married with kids. So I don't know what happened between him and his wife, but they dissolved. But his, I guess his proclivities in the bedroom and whatever played a part. And then some other chicks that he started dating after his wife divorced him they started to complain about all the things he would be asking them to do and everything. Girl, it was a lot. Like, with his family's company, it was a lot. So, he got pulled from all the movies he was doing. He had, like, an up-and-coming movie with J-Lo even. Like, that was the most recent thing he was supposed to be doing. He got pulled from everything because of all this stuff that came out about what he was doing during the pandemic year.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still in the pandemic, but I feel like 2020 is the pandemic year. So, Armie Hammer, he's a good actor, but... I'm not going to judge. I'm just going to leave it there, but it's nasty.
That actually brings up like an interesting kind of juxtaposition that I want to talk to you about. Because we had a conversation yesterday.
Yes, we did.
About...
cancel culture.
Yeah, cancel culture. And I can't remember because I don't follow this, whatever the rapper's name was. What was his name?
Oh, the baby.
Yeah. And you were talking about the fact that his whole livelihood, like, got impacted because of, like, some, like, not great things he said.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about, like, Armie Hammer and how, like, his, like, livelihood has gotten impacted from some, like, stuff that's happened.
There was some accusations that he was a carnivore, or he was... Oh, it was some gross allegations.
Wait,
like
a carnivore?
Like, not a carnivore, cannibalism.
Okay, because I was like,
my bad.
Most humans are carnivores.
My bad. I know I said the wrong C word. There was like, oh my God, there was so much stuff that was coming out about him that was crazy and wild, that he like ate people or something.
Oh God.
It was so much stuff that was coming out about him that was just gross. But then, I read his article about his family and everything. He's just like, oh, there's still some issues. Y'all got some problems. And then his family is also like connected to like Russian spies, Nazis, this kind of stuff. Yeah, it goes back. So him and his grandpa, there was a lot going on. So I mean, Armie Hammer, I'm sorry, you were a good actor, but there was a reason something came out that started everything, and he did not come out and talk about it or defend himself or anything. He just withdrew. So his whole career is shot. As you can see, he's not in anything anymore. Like, we don't even know what he's up to. I heard he was like on some island somewhere, just trying to make it with one of his other new girlfriends. I don't know. That was the last I heard, because everyone was like, "Where's Armie Hammer now?" Anyway, but he was in Call Me by My Name, and then I saw Timothée Chalamet in Little Women, the new version with Saoirse Ronan and Emma Watson. I haven't seen
that yet. How was it?
I loved it. And I've actually never watched, and there's so many renditions of Little Women, but I've never watched it. I've never read the book.
I've never watched any of them or read the books either, but it just seemed like something that I might be interested in.
I liked it.
Okay.
I went to the theater and watched it by myself before the pandemic, and I enjoyed it very much. So, but Timothy was just awesome in that too. And I'm like, anything he's in, I'm about to watch Lady Bird now just because I wanted to see his face again.
You know what? I heard about that movie, and I don't know what it's about, but it just seemed like there was like a lot of buzz or something. And I was like,
there was a lot of buzz, and it got nominations for Oscar. But I'm not gonna lie, I personally like watching Saoirse Ronan. I would watch anything she's in, just because I feel she's very captivating. And then he himself is also a very captivating actor, not because he's beautiful, but not only because he is beautiful, but the way he acts, you're just drawn in. Like, so I like the way he acts. I like seeing his portrayal of a character. Yes, thank you. Perfect word. He has this magnetism about him when he's in roles, and his facial expressions, and you can see that in Dune as well. Like he really embodies the character, the main character, Paul Atreides. You're just like drawn to him. He can be the Muad'Dib or whatever the word is.
Well, I mean that's kind of a spoiler. That doesn't come into the 2021 one. Yes, it's in the 84 one.
You can just see him being great.
What is that really hard to pronounce thing that he's supposed to be? The Kwisatz
Haderach. Yeah, something like that. I still can't pronounce it. I didn't said Shadrach, Meshach, but I don't said some other stuff.
I think it's Kwisatz Haderach.
Thank you. I think you said it really good.
I tried to phonetically like put the stuff because I'm like, there's so many things that are like, how do you say this? I had to like.
But there's so many people in this film. But let's get into what Dune's really about. So, first impressions. Whitney, you give yours.
My first impressions are, one of the things I really loved about this is that from almost like the start of the movie, it felt epic. I don't know what it was, but something about it just from the beginning felt like this was just going to be an epic story. And I felt like it came through on its promise.
Yeah, the cinematography was just absolutely breathtaking. It was.
And the story, just really, the pacing I thought was just awesome. I thought the pacing was just really great. and it wasn't too fast. It wasn't too slow, in my opinion. I thought it was just really great pacing, and the storytelling. Oh my God, the world building. I thought the world building in this movie was fantastic. Like, we talked about how we also watched the 1984 one, and they've got so much exposition, just like with these voiceovers of like their inner voice, but like out loud.
Yeah, and how the 1984 one was very much so
a lot of talking.
It was a lot of quick like brushing over stuff, and then they were trying to cram so much in.
Yeah, a lot of exposition.
Things happened
talking.
really like they talked a lot about certain things, or they just rushed the events real quick.
And there's like a Mojo, like the YouTube channel, Watch Mojo. There's a YouTube video that they did about 1984 versus 2021 Dune. We'll put it in the show notes. You guys should check it out. But like, I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
We were talking about the difference in the exposition, the pacing of Dune 2021, Dune 1984.
Yeah, one of the things they mentioned, which I think is definitely true, and I noticed about the difference between the two, is that they're like Denis
Villeneuve, the great Canadian French Canadian director.
The director of the 2021 Dune. They're like, he shows rather than tells, which, you know, just everyone in storytelling in general.
In writing, it's like a main rule.
Exactly.
It's like a rudimentary rule.
I feel like this is just storytelling, period. No matter like what the kind of genre, whether it's like...
Well, sometimes you need to tell rather than show, but it's showing is a little bit better.
Books, you kind of do that anyway because you're also getting people's like inner thoughts and stuff. But like when you adapt something for film, you need to actually adapt it for the media it's in, which means you shouldn't be having a whole bunch of like freaking voiceovers of people's
I
thoughts.
like that he's tried to. Well, wait, are you finished with your first impression?
Yeah, I'll leave it there for now. Go ahead.
Okay, so my first impression, I really liked it, to be honest with you. I really did. I didn't love it at first because I felt the pacing was a little slower than I wanted it to be. And then my problem is, so here's what I did, guys. I was so excited about this movie from the beginning because I just loved, when I saw the trailer from the beginning, I was like, what is this? I have to watch. Like, ever since I watched Dune, the trailer, back in 2020, because they were supposed to release it that year. But, you know, the pandemic, COVID messed up everything.
Right.
I loved it from the beginning. I was like, I have to see this. And so now that it was getting close to it coming out, I was like getting a little too antsy. So, but the thing is, I knew nothing about Dune. I never heard anything about the books or the series or anything. And I knew I didn't have time to read the book because I was like, I'm going to watch this no matter what. And sometimes certain things make you want to read the books, like Shadow and Bone, the series. The series made me want to read the book. So I read like all the books that exist. And I finished it, and I love the whole universe of Shadow and Bone. Now for this one, I just didn't know if I could get into it because science fiction is not normally my type of fantasy. I like regular fantasy, like something like Shadow and Bone.
And you see, that's the thing with me too. Sorry to interrupt, but I was just gonna like piggyback on that. For me, like book reading, I'm a fantasy reader rather than sci-fi. Like movies, I like pretty much any genre of movie, though I really like fantasy sci-fi. But for books, I'm not really a sci-fi reader. I'm a fantasy reader.
Me neither. So I thought I could not get into it. And then there's some fantasy that's too dense, like Lord of the Rings. I don't know if I could read Lord of the Rings.
I read the first book of the Lord of the Rings. I never got around to the other two just because the movies came out and I watched them and then I got lazy. Like, well, I watched them.
The movies were so great, right? So I wanted to get I really wanted to know what this was about. Like, what is this world about? So, and you know, Whitney knows I watch a lot of interviews because because I've studied films and stuff.
You're
in
really
the past,
into how they did it.
I'm really into how they make things. I like to hear about all the different parts, all the different departments of film, the makeup, the wardrobing, the cinematography, the light, all the editing. I like all of it. So I watched some interviews, and I definitely like hearing from the cast and the directors, especially if it's something that I liked. So I did what I normally do after I watch a film. I did it before, which kind of messed me up. So I watched interviews of the whole cast, and usually that doesn't do anything, but it's like they went deep into stuff, and then I watched some other videos about what this world was about, the main story, without giving away everything. And so it was just like, I was expecting stuff based off what I was hearing, and I should not have done that. And so that is why, at first, I was just like, maybe they did this. I wasn't giving it like a full-on score like I would have, but luckily I decided to watch it again. After watching 84, I watched Dune again, and I put all that stuff out of my mind, and now I was like, I'm completely blown away. So my first impression, needed to change. Because I still thought it was a very great movie. Like, I really thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
I just wasn't, like, blown away because
Right.
I was expecting to see more things, not realizing that this is just a part one.
Yeah.
So when you have that expectation already built, but you're like, I didn't know they were doing it in parts.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was like one movie. We just gonna see everything and that's it.
Right.
So that's why I was like, that's where it ends? What happened? Like, not. So once I realized, I was like, wait a minute. I rewatched it and I was like, nah, man.
Yeah.
This thing is, Whitney's right. That epicness, that odyssey,
Mm-hmm.
it's just so lifelike and real the way they did it. You could tell Villeneuve, like, Denis did his thing with this. Like, you could tell he loved this world. He put so much energy, so much detail and everything. And then I like how with something that's fictional like this, where everything is made up, it can be, and it's complex. It can be really hard to follow at times because you're like, well, what is that? And then nowadays they'll just make new languages just for movies. So that's amazing and awesome. There's people that do that, like the guy that did all the Game of Thrones languages. He constantly does this for who'll make new languages just for film purposes.
No,
I think that's
cool.
amazing. You have to be brilliant in linguistics for that, because I took a course in linguistics in college and I was like, this is too much for me. I'm out. I was like, all I was doing little tree diagrams of language. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
You know what? I just wanted to, like, you mentioned about, like, the world building and stuff. I did want to jump in because we talked about the fact that
that's my
it's
impression anyway, so we can talk about
fiction.
something else.
But, like, when I look at Dune 2021, I feel like it's not quite like pure science fiction. I feel like it's like that kind of a little bit of it's like a fantasy sci-fi because it's like it takes place in like outer space, and there's the space travel and stuff. But then you've got stuff like the Bene Gesserit, who are kind of almost like witches. So it's got like some fantasy like injected in there, and I think that helps me. I mean, not helps me like it more. I think I like things like Ender's Game. I really liked that. So it doesn't have to have like fantasy.
Yeah, because sometimes you think when you hear sci-fi, you think it's like purely aliens and a lot of technology and a lot of like math or sciencey stuff. But like this one is like a pure sci-fi mix, like sci-fi fantasy. Like this is perfectly set. You know what I mean? Because it has the science fiction part with the with the aliens and all that kind of stuff that you normally see in sci-fi part, but then it has like the houses and all this kind of stuff that you would see fantasy tropes exist. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And so I like what you said, because it wasn't bogged down with all that heavy jargon of the world. They explained things, so it's like I was following really well.
And they really did, like they said, do a great job of show don't tell. Yeah, and like you said, I could follow it really well. I was like, I love how I can understand how they built this world up. I understand like the kind of connections between the people and the houses and stuff, and they didn't have to do it through these freaking voiceovers. Yeah,
and they didn't have to do it like a long ass series. Like, so someone called this, when they were trying to explain in one of the videos I watched before I watched the movie. Someone calls this like Game of Thrones but in space. If you're talking about a summation of the story, because they have all the houses, everyone's fighting, there's like political intrigue, who wants to get the throne, who wants to become emperor in this one,
and you can see definite like correlations between like
tribal houses,
like Leto Atreides and Ned Stark.
Yes,
they both died,
they're basically the Starks.
And they were both like really honorable and kind of almost died for their because they were so honorable.
I wonder if J.R.R. Martin like read this as one of his books.
I feel like he might have been influenced.
He might have read it.
I feel like that this was probably maybe Dune, because I think the books you said came out in like
1965. That's a long time ago.
So I feel like that was probably like a little bit like around when he was coming up, so probably this might have been an influence for him.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the Dune movie, came out in '84, and none of us were born then. Like, we weren't even born then. I was like, oh Lord, this movie's old.
We weren't even thoughts.
Yes, exactly. My mom was still in Nigeria at the time, so I was like, damn, this thing is old. But then that's why I couldn't be too harsh on it. It was such an old movie. Not a lot of technology was developed back then.
Though the beginning, oh my God, like the weirding modules that they had, the thing that prevents them from like getting like truly harmed, almost looking
the
for
shield.
Like,
is that part of the wielding modules?
That's what they called it in 1984.
Oh,
well, the thing that did it. I think they
I
called
just
it.
thought that was a
weirding.
protective technology.
But they had remember how when the doctor, they went to get this stuff and they're like, the weirding modules have been destroyed, because otherwise I think they could have used it to try to help defend themselves against the invading forces. But since the doctor had destroyed all of the modules,
I'm not gonna lie. So in Dune 2021, there were some things that I did not follow or did not understand what they were, like the weirding thing.
Yeah,
I did not really catch that in Dune 2021.
Watching the 1984 one does help to fill in some holes.
It helped fill in some of the holes I had. So
now some of these holes are just because there's a part one, so maybe we'd have gotten a better idea of some of the holes in the second part. But it did. It actually
because they filled in more information because they had all that because they wanted to incorporate. So the director of the 1984 version wanted to incorporate more of the text that the original Hubert, right? Hubert or
Frank Herbert?
Herbert had just wrote. So they wanted more information in there, so they had a lot of telling, a lot of exposition that Whitney didn't really care for. I didn't bother me, but it was a lot. I'm not gonna lie. It didn't bother me, but it was a lot.
It bothered me. I was like, why you keep voiceovering?
That's why Villeneuve's version of doing more visions and just showing you this stuff, I'm not gonna lie, even though the showing was really, really good, at times it confused me because I was like, is this happening or not? Or is this going to happen or not? And then some of the visions were like,
to be honest, can I come in for a second?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, that's a really good point you brought up. Is this going to happen or not? Because I feel like that's also from Paul's point of view. Like, he also doesn't know, is this going to happen or not? Is this a possible future? Or is this pretty much this is going to happen?
Yeah, because especially the thing me and you were having the debate about it was at the end. So there was a fight scene in the end where they were
what's this guy's
between
name?
Jamis and Paul, and Jamis was basically trying to I guess it was invoke a battle, this kind of they call it the Amtal, but it's basically you basically kill someone else to take over as leader.
To the death.
Yeah. So it's I forget, it's one of those rituals. But he was oh god, now I lost my train of thought.
He was in Paul's visions.
Yes, there we go.
And he was talking to Paul as if he was almost his
liaison
with the tribe, with the frame, and almost he was going to be the one that helped him get acclimated.
Yeah, the voices, the girl, the voices he was hearing kept saying that seek the friend, or he's the friend, or something. That this guy, he had not met him, and we had not met him. We saw him in the film earlier. I
kind of got the feeling that
we thought
Chani was the friend.
I thought he was the friend because they kept saying seek the friend, meet the friend, and it was only him on the screen. So I was like, is he the friend or not? But then me just trying to think beyond what is actually there, I was assuming that, because the friend has to teach him the ways, and so one of the ways you learn is just by getting thrown in there. You know what I mean? So it was by him evoking this Amtal thing, which is a cultural ritual, Paul had to go through the transformation of becoming this new thing and being part of the Fremen. So he was learning what they had to do, and he had to die to himself. So I thought it was a metaphor, really.
I could see that. That's not what I got from it at first, but when you explain that, I could see how it would be more metaphorical. As far as the dying heart, because there was this voice that kept talking to Paul, and it was talking about
most of the time it was in Zendaya's voice, but then there was another voice.
Yeah, I felt like it was that the Reverend Mother.
Yes, I thought it was because it seemed like multiple voices.
Yeah, because sometimes it transformed into Zendaya's voice. Yes. It started as the Reverend Mother's and then transformed into Chani. Zendaya plays Chani, but it's transformed into Chani's voice. So I was wondering, in some parts, the part where he's he sees the vision, and it looked to me and this is what me and Bola were debating about, I thought the voice was telling Paul that he needed to die, let Jamis kill him, because it's makes no sense. Don't be afraid. But he was the Paul Atreides must die for the Kwisatz Haderach to
me
live.
That made no sense because I was like, he's the main person, he can't die. But then I realized it was figurative to me. That's what I thought.
But I was thinking there's this world, and there's almost these kind of witch characters. So maybe he would be revived or something.
You thought, okay, so it's kind of like a Harry Potter thing where the Horcrux had to die, because that's what I was thinking.
That part, I thought he was going to die and he would be revived or something.
Harry
and then
he would, because he was a Horcrux, but then he came back to life.
But when he came back, he would be the how do you say this again?
The
Kwisatz Haderach. But then when the voice is like, when he shows them the vision, but then he actually kills Jamis, I was like, oh snap. At first I was like, did he defy the voice? Like, was he supposed to die? But by killing Jamis, did he defy the voice? And so he's actually like exercising his own agency, like, I'm gonna forge my own path.
Because they kept saying they want him to wake up, to awaken, that thing needs to awaken. So I was like, why would they want him to die as well?
And then I also remember the doctor saying, Dr. Yue saying near the beginning that, like, the Bene Gesserit, they have their own
plan, their own designing. So it's something they were trying to do.
Also, I was wondering to myself, is this actually the Reverend Mother's voice, and is she trying to get him to die because she doesn't want him to be the Kwisatz Haderach, so she wants him to like listen to her voice and actually die.
But she said good luck to him. She hopes he stays alive. But because to me, it didn't seem like she thought he was. She didn't think like
she might be one of those people, almost like a what's his name,
Littlefinger. Oh, okay.
Where she says that, but he doesn't really want him to be, because she's like, we have other options. Remember, she was like, we've got other when she was talking to the mother. So I was like, does she not want him to be the one to be the Kwisatz Haderach? So is she like trying to get him to like listen to her voice and die? And by defying her, he's actually set on his own path. Or is it supposed to be, like you said, was it supposed to be metaphorical, and he was supposed to, because they also said, like, when you kill someone else, you die as well, or something like that. So was it, like you said, supposed to be metaphorical?
I thought it was like a passage, like a rite of passage ritual, and that needed to happen for him to
I
become
believed
someone
kind
else.
of firmly that he was supposed to die.
Okay.
But then after like listening to what you said, I was like, maybe Bola's right, and this was supposed to be really metaphorical.
And he had to kill the person because it's like you said, it's like you change if you kill a person.
Exactly.
So it's like he needed to become,
because Paul
Atreides
has never killed anyone, but in order to not be Paul Atreides and to become this new version, that the old one had to die.
Yeah, he had to be able to, murk some folks. You know what I mean? Because he's got to become great. So he's got to do some stuff, some enemies. So let's talk about now. I just want to talk about the desert. Like, okay, so this story takes place in two different. It's the space universe, but the main place is Caladan, which is the Atreides' main
the
home
house
planet.
Of Atreides planet.
I like that they were houses.
Yeah,
but they were all on planets. That was mad cool to me. Like,
that was really
cool. Like a house, but it's like, so everybody's in the house. They're all different people, but it's like, no, we are the House Atreides, and we run this planet. We run this, and I'm like, how big is the planet? How big are the people? Are all the people still there? You know what I mean? That was so weird to me. And then you have Arrakis. Excuse me, I said Arrakis. It's not a spider. Arrakis, which is like this. So okay, Whitney, I'm not gonna lie. I have this weird thing about sand. I love sand. Like, I like how smooth it is. Like, I'm not gonna lie, sand always looks so good. Like, I always want to lick sand.
Oh, ew.
That's what I said. It's a weird thing. I never do it, of course, because I know it's all rocks. But it's like, I always want to lick sand because of how it looks smooth. It looks all compiled together, and it's just so smooth. The texture, like, I get some ASMR vibes, like when I'm touching sand. So I really like desert sand. I've never been in the desert. Beach sand is really not the same because there's all these like shells and stuff in it and poop and whatever. But I never get these kind of feelings at the beach. But when I see sand that's like untouched, like desert sand, it's just so appealing to me. So I just love the visuals of all the sand everywhere, the dunes, and it was just so cool to me. I was just like, I want to be there and touch the sand dune. Like, I want to ride a buggy on a sand dune. You know what I mean? I really do. But it was part of the visuals that made this movie so appealing to me, because they had some of it in the other one, but it was just the way they shot it in the 2021 version. It's so beautiful. The scenery in general, all the cinematography of this film is top notch. The effects are top notch, But I just wanted to comment on that because it was like my favorite thing was looking at just the scenes with all the sand. I was like, I want to be in the sand. I know it's stupid because it's hot and terrible and there's scorpions and tarantulas in it, but I'm just like, the sand.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Bola has a thing about sand. All right, that's my weird little thing. I just love the scenes of the sand.
Okay.
Let's talk about the sandworm now. The sandworm is like the big enemy.
Well, I wouldn't say the sandworm is an enemy.
Okay, the treacherous monster.
I wouldn't say it was treacherous.
Okay. the Spice Creator.
Okay.
I landed on something. Well, fine. What did you think? The sandworm to me was so terrifying, but not as bad as
I love. They did a really great job on like the creature
weird.
design, because it really is like terrifying. It's like huge and like with all these teeth and stuff.
Yeah, and there's like a hole of teeth, like sharp, like they look like sticks. Honestly, like let me say like wheat reeds or something. Like you would think they're flimsy, but they're so sharp. They're just I don't know. It's so weird. The design was very cool.
It was. It really was.
And then the one in the 84 version had like these little lips or something that kind of opened up into like quarters.
Flap type thing.
Flap type thing.
I mean,
I hated that.
It was a decent design for like the 80s.
It was.
But
I
do much prefer the 2021 design.
Yeah, me too. Like I just like that the little hole just kind of like...
Yeah. I thought it made it even more intimidating than the 1984 one.
Yeah, it was amazing. What's some differences that you noticed from the 84 version and this one that made this 2021 version stand out?
Ooh. And I'm going to refer again to the Watch Mojo YouTube video that we'll drop in the links. But I noticed this even before watching that YouTube video. But like the female, there was a lot of really great performances by the females in the cast. And like a lot of great focus on some of the female characters. Whereas the 84 version, like it didn't look like any of the females had any type of agency whatsoever almost.
Yeah.
And like
there was a lot of overacting.
Parts. Yeah, but no like really great strengths. But like they had like a lot of really strong female characters in the 2021 one, like Dr. Liette, who, based on watching the 1984 Dune, I think he was a man in the 1984 one. But based on watching the 1984 Dune, I think that Dr. Liette is supposed to be maybe the mother of Chani.
I think so too. I would love if they like revealed that, like in the part 2.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the females were rocking it in this one. I thoroughly enjoyed. Zendaya didn't say much, but she was all over this film. It was so interesting to me.
I think she's supposed to have a much larger part in the second part. This was like establishing stuff before they really get into like the relationship that Paul develops with the Fremen.
And with her too, because you can tell there's some lovey-doveyness going. Well, we watched the 84 version, and the 84 version told us what happens. The way
Rebecca
they did it
Ferguson
was so weird.
As like Lady Jessica, she was a very strong character. I loved it.
Yes, I feel like, and I wanted to know if she wanted to do more, because the funny thing is the way Rebecca describes Jessica's character is that she's very powerful, but it's almost like that she's very reluctant in what's going on and being part of this manipulating body. Like, because it's like the Bene Gesserit are these group of women that have these extraordinary powers, and they kind of like manipulate events in the Imperium, which is basically the whole world, the whole space, I guess, universe.
Yeah,
right?
It's like an empire, basically.
Yeah, so they do all this stuff, and it's almost like she's reluctant because now that she developed this family, because it's almost like she seems like she wants to not be involved in this, and she just wants to have a regular life. At the same time, she will do what she has to do. You know what I mean? And so, I don't know, Rebecca always describes her as like, she would feel like, she thinks Jessica would prefer to just stay at home, not have to do this, because there was so much fear that she always have to keep like saying her little mantra to suppress it because of the big events happening around them. You know what I mean?
I personally don't, based off of watching the movie, feel like she was afraid of the events happening. I think she was afraid of how it would affect her family. I feel like she was pretty fearless about like the events. Like, she was a very strong character.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
That the fear of what these things will happen, what will happen to her family. Okay. As again, she feared Leto dying, and he did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was very torn up about that. And I kind of still wish he married her too. I was like, why didn't you wife her up? You have no other woman.
That is interesting. Another thing that I thought was filled in by the 1984 one.
Yeah, so we learned why he didn't wife her up. Because he wanted a political marriage so that he could like take the throne.
Yeah.
So that was why he had put it off for so long.
And he just made her a concubine rather than a wife, and then he.
He loved her, and he loved the son that she produced.
He loved his family, yeah. But
one thing I didn't get, Whitney, was how she was able to like make her own, like, you know, no one can pick what comes when they're pregnant. You'd be like, oh, you want a girl, but you get a boy, or vice versa.
But I don't know.
It's like the
type of powers that the Bene Gesserit had, maybe she did have a certain amount of influence.
Why are they only allowed to have girls? And I know feed their
and that's
population.
One thing that we were talking about yesterday, because I am not certain that they are only allowed to have girls. I was trying to decide if one, she was only supposed to bear a girl, or if two, she was since she had a boy, she just wasn't supposed to teach him the ways of the Bene Gesserit, which she did, and that was the problem. So I was like, is it that they can control what they have? And they had a problem with the fact that when she had a boy, she still taught him the ways of the Bene Gesserit? Or is it that she, they can control it, and she still chose to go ahead and have a son because Leto wanted a son. Mm-hmm. So that's what I was like not certain about.
Mm-hmm. I understand that too, because it seems, because also in the movies, the books, it says that the Bene Gesserit have been doing this breeding program where they were trying to get the Whitney, you say it.
Kwisatz Haderach?
Thank you. I'm just gonna have her say it every time. They're trying to like birth this person, but they were like losing bloodlines and this and that, because it's all that inbreeding, all that stuff that was done when you're trying to control monarchies and all that kind of stuff. Basically what was happening in Europe and everything. So I thought that was interesting that they were like trying to do that this whole time.
Yeah.
So it was like, then why wouldn't you want the boy to be the thing, And it was almost like they were like, well, Jessica wasn't instructed to do this. So maybe that's why they were all mad. But it's like, maybe because she did it out of love for the guy, that he became the one, the chosen one.
Yeah. And I wonder about that too. If maybe the main problem they had with it was that they couldn't control Paul, because they wanted someone that they would be able to control. And because this is like the first time you see in the movie, that's the first time that the Reverend Mother ever meets Paul. And if that's the first time they ever meet, they can't like really control him, because he's already become his own person. His mother and father have raised him, and I think that may have also played into it. They wanted someone they could control.
And then I think it's interesting, the line that she said, all this power is wasted on a male. Was that in the 84 version or the 2021 version?
I can't remember.
I thought it was the 2021 version. No, it was definitely the 84 version. Right, it was. So I thought that was so interesting that they were like, they thought the power was in the women. When, you know what I mean? Like, they wanted her to have a woman, because it's like, no, these powers are wasted on a male. And I was like, why though? It was so cute. Some of these things, because I'm really, when it comes to stories, I want to go in. Like, I want to know everything. So for me, it's like, when there's spots and things I don't know yet, and I'm like, well, where is it coming out? I need this information. So I can know everything and come up with my own theories and stuff.
Yeah. So
a world like this is so full and rich. And like Whitney was talking about the world building. Definitely great world building going on in this story, guys. Yeah. Like, I really enjoyed all the different components and everything. So let's talk about the villains now. The baddies. I guess the Targaryens are not the best. The Lannisters, can we call them the Lannisters maybe? How can we liken them? If the Atreides are the Starks, then maybe we should say Lannisters. The Harkonnens are the Lannisters.
Yeah. I think that's probably the closest.
The Lannisters, yeah. Because I was like, there wasn't one that was just like really bad. The Vale wasn't bad.
Yeah, Lannisters are the closest coming. I mean, the closest to it. They weren't like, it wasn't the entire house, but it was like they were the kind of the main antagonists, or a few of the members of that family.
Yeah, so they're like the Lannisters, right? So they're huge, they're rich. Oh yeah, they are the Lannisters. Because they're big and rich and have all this money, and then they have like the Baron, their father of the Lannisters was really
Baron Vladimir Harkonnen.
He was terrible. And then if you look at the father of the Lannisters, he was like bad too. Like, he was willing to do whatever to keep their money and to keep their power. So
which is
it's
essentially like a direct correlation.
They're basically the Lannisters. So yeah, we're gonna do that. So the Harkonnens were, let's talk about the villain, the Baron. So in the 84 version, y'all, I'm just gonna say, if y'all gonna watch it, it's also available on HBO Max to stream. But
both of these are. Sorry, guys.
Just bear in mind that the Baron in the 84 version is disgusting and
practically
ridiculous.
A caricature.
Yes, he's disgusting and ridiculous. Like, they made him. The word just disgust. That's the only word I can, when I see him. The way they portrayed him, I don't know if the book describes him with all this like facial deformities and stuff, because I think he's using spice and like transforming himself, because that's what they said they were doing. So the Baron could have been doing that, but like the one in the 84 version, they just had to make him so ridiculously like evil. Like, but they made him disgustingly evil. Like, you know what I mean? And then he was just ridiculous
like,
because of how he was behaving.
Caricature evil.
Yeah.
Whereas, like a
mad person.
What's his name that plays the Baron in the 2021 one?
Stellan Skarsgård.
Where Stellan Skarsgård's the 2021 Baron, he was like a sinister evil. It was a much more effective villain,
I wasn't grossed out by him. I was just like, whoa, what's up with this guy?
Not grossed out, but intimidated though.
Yeah, because he was like, he was not like very loud. Mm-hmm. He was not very like, I'm gonna do this. And you know how villains talk too much? Mm-hmm. He didn't do that. And
no monologuing like from the Incredibles.
And in the 84 one, he definitely talked too much and just did too much. And just looking at him where he was flying around like he was like a witch or something. My dude. And I'm just like, can you chill out? Like at one point, I just didn't want to look at him. I was like, can you just rein it in? So, but that's part of the overacting that was happening in that time period. Where the women were like, oh my god.
Yeah. But his like floating thing, which was like basically a little bit ridiculous
suit, and
almost comedic for the 84 one, it becomes like sinister when you first see him float in like the 2021 one. When he like floats up, it's like, oh, this is a great scene. The way they filmed it makes it look like intimidating. The way he's
sets him up to like be on top, and you can tell he's the predator. You know?
Like,
I will dominate you. You know?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like the difference, but again, he was awful in this one. But he was like one of those people who are like, doing evil doesn't bother him. It's almost like, kill everybody. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't know what the word is for that.
He
like black compassion.
He did want them to basically like. He told Raban. He's like basically kill all of the Fremen, like total genocide.
Yeah, he was like, we kill all the Atreides, and now we're gonna kill all these folks too. And I was like, well, damn. And then he promised he took one of Leto's people, the doctor, I guess the doctor.
Dr. Yue?
Yeah, he took his wife just to get him to comply to be the traitor. Mm-hmm. Then he promised he was gonna let the wife go, and then he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give you what you promised. And then he just off the dude, and you're just like, wow, like. So that means you already killed his wife. Mm-hmm. So I was like, why should I listen to you? Honestly, I was like, yo, you might have to, in my mind, this is what I've been like, okay, if you know the Baron's character or behavior, he probably took your wife. He probably going to kill her anyway. Even though this is terrible, you're like, okay, I'm not going to help him because I know he's going to just off my wife anyway, and he's probably going to kill me.
But he doesn't know that for sure. On the off chance that he could save her, I understand why he did what he did. But he had a contingency plan. He was like, no, I'm going to give you this poison tooth.
Yeah, that's what I like. That's why I'm not that mad at what Dr. Yue did, because I was like, he was forced, and that's his wife. So he's like, nah, I love my wife. He even wanted to like let her go now, and unfortunately they had already killed her. Mm-hmm. Cause the way he described it too, he was like, they pull her body apart like a doll, and I was just like, what? What
to her? So like, what?
So to me, I was like, are you sure she's alive?
Yeah, but when he said that, you know what I went to in my mind? I went to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 when she was Karen Gillian's character, Nebula, was talking about how
doing that.
Every time she lost a battle, he would pull one of her body parts. That's what I thought of.
Mm-hmm. That was terrible too.
Yeah,
and then replace it with metal. It was so terrible. He was a very sadistic person too. Mm-hmm. Who's Josh Brolin? Josh Brolin, but he played somebody nice in this one.
Yeah, Josh Brolin has been extremely busy.
Yes, he's been in stuff, y'all. I was like,
he was Cable in Deadpool 2. Yeah. He was Thanos in Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame.
Let's just say he was Thanos throughout the whole MCU.
Yeah.
Oh wait, he wasn't Thanos in the other ones, the earlier ones. Like, remember where he appeared in some of the scenes? They had not got him to play Thanos yet, so I can't say that.
Yeah, and now he's Gurney in Dune 2021.
Mm-hmm. And he did a great job of being the fighter, the
Master of War, I think is what he is.
Yeah, he was down. I loved him. He was like down. He's like, you ain't doing nothing. He was like, respect. You gonna respect the king. You know what I mean? He's one of those like ride or dies that you need in your little.
Speaking of
office.
Another ride or die, my man Jason Momoa.
Yeah, let's talk about
Duncan,
him.
Idaho.
Yes, his name is cool.
Badass.
His name is cool. I was like, Idaho's your last name?
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
But he went out like a G, man. He took down like 25 people.
In the 84 version, he went out like a punk.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
They did not do him right in the 84 version. First of all,
he did go out like a punk.
The shield, I know the technology wasn't there, but the way they decided to show the shield was this clunky, boxy cube thing that you couldn't
even
see
tell
the person.
It was like, what is going on?
I was like, I know the technology, but I was like, but damn, like, really? I would have like some kind of fog outline instead of that square that was moving around. I was just like, yo, this is terrible. Both of us immediately were like, this is stupid. Oh yeah, and I was like, that's the effects they did, because I knew that in that time, to make the epic scenes where I knew they would do miniatures and then film that and then just make it big. Mm-hmm. But I was like, man, they really didn't figure out what to do about the shield thing. And then he died, so he was like hardly in the film. They just Jason
the 84
Momoa,
one, you guys,
the 84 one, but Jason Momoa's what they did with him in the 2021 version, he was a man of valor. He was awesome. I was just mad they lost him.
Just an awesome warrior. He just like, I'm gonna take down everybody I can.
Yeah. So let's talk about one of my favorite characters in this whole thing. Mm-hmm. Leto Atreides. I love Leto Atreides, like the father. He's like what a father and leader is supposed to be. Mm-hmm. I was so like, that was the one death that I was upset about. Like,
I was really upset.
I was completely upset that the king had to die. I was like, no, why?
Because like when you look at it, it's so.
And he loved his son so much.
He loved his family, period.
Yeah.
And like, it's interesting because the whole reason that the emperor was
jealous of him, and
is
plotted to kill them all.
The rest of the empire, I guess, looks to House Atreides rather than like the emperor, because he's built up these relationships, and it's because he's so honorable. He's like,
yes,
like when he comes, he said like, wait, was this in the 2021 or in the 1984? He's like, no, my father came here not for the spice.
It was the 2021 version.
Okay. Yep. He's like, he came here not for the spice.
Paul said that
and
about
not
Leto.
For the something. He's like, he came here for the strength of your people.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was always about people. Like when you see the spice machine break down in the movie, he's not concerned about the spice. He's like, F the spice, get the people
out of there. Exactly. And I was going to liken it again to Game of Thrones, because if you look at the Stark family, they're all about honor.
Yes.
Even when all the other people are plotting and doing, they could be plotting and devious as well, but they did not, no matter what. All the Starks were like really trying to be honorable, and I felt like that honor draws people in. Not only does it want people to serve you, but it builds excellence and everything. And so you saw that in the Caladan group when they were on their planet. You saw that on there. They had all this majesty about them.
Yeah.
They could tell, it was all dripping. He was dripping. Everyone was dripping with honor and integrity. And that's what I liked about him. Like, I was just like, I just loved his character. He was in the movie, but I was just like, I wanted to see him do more things.
You could see that they had built up their power based on integrity and respect, as opposed to like something like fear, which is probably what the Harkonnens and like the Emperor built theirs on.
And you can tell. You can see it. Like, even in the cinematography, they showed it. And the people, they just look terrible. All the Harkonnens have like no eyebrows. They all look pale. You're just like, y'all need some sun. Damn. Y'all need to take up. Y'all been on. Y'all had control of Arrakis for Arrakis for 80 years, and none of y'all got a tan. Damn. It was so pale, like egg-like. I was just like, oh, y'all look terrible, like all of you. Anyway, I know they were like mutated people, but the Harkonnens are just awful people, you know?
Yeah.
And so they just did terrible things. And even Rabban, which was like, he was supposed to be the beast, which means he was just slicing folks' head for no reason. I was like, damn, like, chill out.
I mean, not for no reason. It was like,
it was a takeover, I know.
It was war, so like, I guess that's what
it was just unnecessary, like, killing. Like, he was just like, he enjoyed it. I hate when people enjoy it.
Almost like, you know, like when you're watching Game of Thrones and like when Khaleesi like burns all the people, it's like canon typical violence. It's like when you're having a takeover, they're not going to like most of the time let defeated people live, because there's like they might like try to betray you, so this is kind of what they do.
I like that they didn't make them, because they made the villains all ridiculous in the 84 version.
Yeah,
so the Harkonnens were all redheaded, weird, just
shaved, random shave.
It was just weird. But I like that he unified them, made them look more in the Villeneuve in the 2021 Dune. Made them look all unified as like, this is how the people on this planet look. But he like made them like, they're still villains, but he made them, you know, seem there was some humanity there. They weren't ridiculous. You could take it seriously that, oh, these are the bad guys, you know, but they had their own purposes and everything. You know, they wanted power as well, you know, and they have a terrible ruler. So the people do what? They do terrible things, you know, starts with the head. So what else can we talk about? This movie was just so great.
It was. I think we've pretty much covered most of the main points we wanted to go over. I think it's going to be just like our ratings, and then we'll probably blur it out.
All right. So what do you rate Dune 2021?
From the first time I watched it, gave it a 10. I know Bola had to kind of give it another watch
for a second.
But I know I'm giving these things out like hotcakes, but guys, I thought it was really deserving. I gave it a 10 glasses.
I don't mind giving glasses when the content is deserving of it. And since lately we've been watching great content, you know what I mean? And I was originally going to give this a different number, but after reflecting and looking back on it, and again, just like using fresh eyes, I watched it a second time with fresh eyes. And I did not put all the stuff that I was hearing about it. And then I also paid attention to the fact that this is just a part one. This was amazing film. Like, it really is spectacular to, like, witness and look at and behold. Like, it is on, like we kept saying, an epic, Odyssey-like type film. And, I mean, this is one for the times, you know what I mean? I feel like they're going to do great things. I hope that people go to the box office and, people
or
like
stream the mess out of it,
and
whatever
watch it.
To get this, because we want part 2. We need part 2.
So to me, I definitely am gonna give it a 10 glasses. It just deserves it. Hey, 10 glasses for all the work that was put into, all the time and effort. Yeah, you can definitely see it. And you could definitely see the passion that the director had inside the film. Like, he wanted this to be wonderful, great telling. Like, he wanted this to be like a story for the ages. And I also like being introduced to this new world and new story. Like, this is amazing. It's like fresh to me. Even though it's a remake, it's still fresh because I was not aware of it. I had never heard of Dune before in my life. So I'm like, hey, let's look at this again. So I just would say this is like a chosen one story trope, I would say.
Yeah, because
so I don't know what the main...
we forgot to mention that the Kwisatz Haderach is like a messiah type of figure.
Yeah, so right now, because there's not a part 2, I would not know what I can say the main message of this story is, because I was hearing other things about the messaging in this film.
I heard things about the messaging,
and then I'm like, but I did not see that when I watched it. So I was like, now I'm just gonna wait for the complete director's vision, so now I'll know what to get. But right now, it's like we're seeing the development of the chosen one, and he's gonna take his place, and he's gonna correct wrongs and all that kind of stuff. So I'm feeling like that's the setup so far for this one. I do recommend
and the one
watching...
true king.
Sorry.
Wow, I didn't even know you were going to do that. So, Whitney, can we rate the 84 version as well?
Yeah, sure.
Oh my gosh, she's not going to give it a good rating, y'all. It's going to get like 1 monocle. It actually wasn't that bad. For the time period, let's allot some spectacles for the time it was made in.
I am waffling between 6 glasses and a monocle, or 7 glasses.
I don't blame you. 7 glasses. There's 6.5. 6 glasses and a monocle actually sounds pretty decent because the movie wasn't bad. But there was just features in it that, like, one was the time period, and then the whitewashing was another thing I couldn't stand. That everybody in here was white. I was like, y'all couldn't make some people green or something just to make it, damn. Like, they just, everybody here is white. That was my main thing that I love that Villeneuve corrected in this one. Like, he made different races were all over this film. Thank God. Some diversity. Dang. There were so many other things, like, you know, the technology and then just the vision.
Okay, now you cemented it for me. 6 glasses and a monocle.
Okay. Some things that were messed up. The women, how they were portrayed.
Oh, God, yeah.
So there were some things that really put it down. I'm not going to lie, Sting, I don't think I ever saw Sting act at anything. And I'm like, maybe I can see why. You know? I just felt like that one scene where he just came out in his underwear was so unnecessary. That one scene where, and then the Baron was just acting like he was like incestual with his nephew. I'm just like, this scene is ridiculously awkward,
but
and I didn't want to watch it.
Very correlate.
Yeah.
Very much on point for like a Lannister like correlation.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did a good job. But I was like, Sting would play a character that didn't appear in the 2021 version called Fade. So maybe we'll see him later on. But
and that's one thing we also don't know. We don't know if they just made him for the 1984 one because he's Sting, or if he's actually in the books.
The character might be in the books.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the character is in the books. They just didn't. I just think they made him.
He's going to be in part 2.
Yeah,
maybe.
I just was like, why did they put Sting in here? I guess he was trying his hand in an acting career at the time, and he was like the hottest thing in the 80s. So I was just like, that scene was just for pure thirst trap. You know how they put stuff in the movie for thirst trap?
Yeah.
Because he had like a little like I don't even know, like a leather checkmark Speedo. Like what was that?
Yeah, that was. And then the part where like they're invading the House Atreides on
that was so
on
horrible.
Atraxis, and then he like kills somebody, and then they have the freaking voiceover again. I wish this were Paul. Yeah. And I'm like, this is so lame.
Yeah. Even the fighting scenes were so much better in the whole war scene. It was dark, it was not gonna lie. There was some parts where I was like, I need a little bit more light. Like in the Game of Thrones season ending, where you're just like, we need light here. Like, can we have some light? I know it was pitch black, but can we have some light? But it wasn't as bad in the 2021 version. But when you saw them blowing up everything, I was like, damn, this is effed up. Like, yeah, that was epic to me. Like all the fighting and the blowing up of their home base, and I just thought it was messed up that the Emperor just did that. He was just like, we're going to take them out this way. Mm-hmm. It's terrible. It's such a thing that you will see this kind of crap in the Korean dramas too, with the historical dramas, where they're like, this is like a political move, all aimed at your demise, but you have to comply because the Emperor told you to do this or that. Yeah. It's such a thing you see in Asian films. So I thought that was really interesting as well, the political intrigue. But anyway, the older version I didn't think was terrible. I think if you watch this one and you're like confused about stuff, if you watch the 2021 version, watch the 1984 version to like fill in some blanks for you. Yeah. If you're not trying to read the book or find a video and watch it. If you're like, I'm just gonna watch this film. Yeah, watch the 1984 version so that you can get some background, some more information. It helps fill in the gaps that we don't know yet. Yeah, so that's it, y'all.
That's it.
We recommend Dune. Got 2 10 glasses there, not a monocle, and the other one. Use your own discretion. All right, y'all. So we are blerding out.
Blerd out.
Have a wonderful week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Please subscribe to our show on whatever podcast listening app you use and share the show with other Blerds and non-Blerd family and friends. And if you like our episode, please rate and review us on iTunes.
The intro and outro music is Twilight by Caption. You can find them on SoundCloud, username Caption, spelled Capshun. The show notes are by Bola, Hanson, and the audio engineering is by Whitney Booker.
And you can contact us by email at blerdtalkbw@gmail.com. And also, don't forget to get social, you guys. You can find us on our social media at Instagram and Twitter, with our @handle being @blerdtalkbw. And we've got our individual things going on too, y'all. So you can find me, your Blerd Fashionista, on Instagram and Twitter at BolaStoryB. That's B with 2 E's like the insect. And I've got my own personal YouTube channel, just Bola Sade. That's BOLASHADE. D as in dog, E as in elephant.
And this is Whitney. You can find me at my company, Luminavi Studios. The email address is wit@luminavi.com. That's WHIT@LUMENAVI.com. You can also find me on Twitter at Luminavi Studios.